Let's talk crochet. Hey folks, it's Mary, aka MercyTriumphs, and this is my channel Slow Crochet. This is episode 053, and today I'm just updating y'all on all of the crocheted things that I have finished this week, as well as any works in progress or new beginnings that I have going on. So before I get any further, I just do want to say a big thank you to all of my subscribers, anyone who watches these videos. Hi, I see you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being along on this yarny YouTube adventure of mine. I certainly am glad that you're here with me today, and I hope you know that. This past week, I had a goal of finishing my Christmas tree skirt by December 1st, and as that happened last week, I indeed did finish it. You might have seen me post a picture in the community tab. You might have seen it on Instagram. This was the Silent Night Christmas tree skirt with modifications, and I did finish it. Now, it is under my Christmas tree right now, so I'm dropping in some photos and some video. I love how it turned out. I'm so glad that this is what I opted to do, but oh my goodness, so many single crochets. I hope that I don't see another single crochet for a good long time. Major modifications that I did, first of all, I used Caron 1 pound and off-white, and I did not do it solid. I did it with like a mystery red yarn, which I think is a Caron yarn. Just a vintage red acrylic. I ran out of that towards the end, but I did pick up some Red Heart Cherry Red, and that was just what I needed to finish off the trees at the bottom. The trees in the original pattern there are twice as many as I used, so I felt that because they were such a contrasting color, I wanted to give them a little space to breathe. And then at the end, it did call for just going straight into a band of bubble stitches that are interspersed with a chain stitch. But instead, I did one last round of single crochet, and then I did slightly smaller bobbles than what was called for in the pattern. Finally, I did not add any kind of button band or closure. I think it's because I crochet so tightly, but my Christmas tree skirt ended up overlapping by at least 1 or 2 trees, which is about 6 to 8 inches of overlap, so I didn't see a need to put on any kind of trimming, and I'm so glad that it's done. It's very sweet. It's very classic. It's just the kind of thing that I love, and so I'm excited that it will be part of our life for many Christmases to come. With that big project done, I needed some smaller projects to work on. One of them is one that I started last week. It is a corner-to-corner scarf, and I used Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn in the color Eddington Ridge. Now, this is not a color that is being made anymore, I don't believe. I got it in a clearance, but it is that kind of pink granite color. And so this one, because it's I Love This yarn, it's 100% acrylic, it's a 4-weight, it's a real easy care. I did use over a whole skein of this, but this one is going to donate. So that's kind of a theme. Any kind of easy care acrylic is great for donations so that there's not a lot of hand wash or lay flat to dry required, because I'd imagine the people that want donations need things that are going to keep them warm and are easy to care for. They want to keep them looking good wash after wash, and that's one of the great benefits of acrylic. Another completion is one that I just started kind of on a whim. This pattern is the Granny Stripe Hat by Yarnspirations, and I didn't follow it exactly. I've done kind of my standard variation on this hat where I do a 5 in the center, and then I also, instead of doing 2 double crochets in a cluster, I'll do 3, and then where it calls for 3 double crochets, I'll do 4. I'll have a link to some of my Ravelry projects in the description box if you're interested in exactly how I changed that pattern to make it more like this. It's a Hobby Lobby yarn. It's the color Emerald Garden, and I made it a little bit fluffier and hopefully not too tight for people. I do like doing that edging of front post, back post double crochets to really finish it off. But this one is a low pill acrylic. The hat on my head is actually a fall through beanie, and that is something that I just started using some more of the Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn. The colorway that I'm using is called Peacock Tails, and this is a color that's still being produced. So it's on my head, and it is in process here. This is another Crystal Bago Day pattern. It is absolutely beautiful. I love, love, love this pattern, and it's one that I am so happy to go back to time and time again. I think this is maybe my 3rd or 4th that I've made with this pattern, but this is the first time I'm using variegated yarn, And oh my goodness, it's working up so beautifully. I did get 2 of these skeins of yarn for Black Friday, so I'm definitely doing the hat. And Crystal does have the matching scarf and the multiples of that. I'm not sure if I'll make a scarf out of it or if I might do some long arm warmers. That might be really great too. Maybe it's something that there's a need for that people don't really think of as quickly as a hat and scarf. So that's going to donation, but that is a new work in progress for this week. I did start 2 more projects this week. One of them is another I Love This yarn. This time I am using the color Violet Wisp, and I've used this before. It's kind of a variegated marled, and for this I'm just doing a super simple skinny V-stitch scarf. My goal is to make this scarf as long as I possibly can, because this again will go into donation. But I love how these colors are playing out. Those muted kind of sunset colors against this medium gray I think are really beautiful, and it'll start to go into some purple, some lavender, some kind of aqua, and like a dusty kind of mulberry magenta color. I think it's going to be really beautiful, and it'll keep someone's neck nice and toasty as the weather gets cooler. So those are some little projects, but usually when I finish something big like the tree skirt, I give myself permission to start another big project. And this is one that I've been rattling around in my head for a while, and it is a shawl. Yay! So this is a shawl that I'm not using a pattern for. I'm coming up with it myself, and I'm kind of taking notes on it. My desire is to do kind of a thicker shawl that is not going to be too boring for me to make. And so by that I mean it's not all double crochet, it's not all herringbone stitch, it's not all treble crochet, it's not all the moss stitch. There's some variation within there. And so my heart is to have just a gentle texture to it, but still keep it quite solid. But if you really look, you'll see some of that variation there. The yarn that I'm using is Baby Bee Sweet Delight in Ballet Slipper. This is a 4-ounce, 377 yard skein. 60% acrylic and 40% polyamide. It's a lightweight number 3. And it calls for a 4.5 millimeter hook. For this one, I am using my H hook, my 5.0 millimeter hook, and it's working up pretty nicely. So this is one that I got at the most recent Hobby Lobby dye lot clearance, and it is beautiful. I have 2 skeins of this and 1 skein of another color, and I'm excited to start working that in. In my head, there are some knit shawls that I've seen that have kind of a nice texture and then little pops or stripes of a contrasting color. So my heart is to kind of mimic that a little bit without being too overt, and also keeping it interesting for myself. But I'm so happy to be working on a shawl again, because in the midst of the Christmas makes and the little things, it's really nice to be able to have something that is longer term and brings me a lot of joy, just because shawls are my happy place. I love making them. I can't really explain the feeling I get when I have one on the hook. I think maybe you guys might understand where it just sets your heart at ease. You know, there's peace in your soul. So that's where I'm at when I get to work on a shawl, especially one that has been in my head for a while and I get to see it kind of come forth. There is one last thing that I did complete, and I'm putting this at the end because if you know me in person and you think you might be receiving a Christmas gift from me, you might want to stop the video right now, so be warned. But I did complete a Christmas gift using some Malabrigo Rios. In fact, I attached the little tag to it so this recipient can enjoy that and have the care instructions there. This is the Puff Stitch Beanie by Auburn Elephant, and I've made several of these in the past. I think this is such a wonderfully underrated pattern. I think that it ought to get a bit more attention than it does. The only difference is I do put some front post, back post alternating ribbing at the bottom instead of the finishing off that pattern calls for. So I did use 2 of my mystery yarn Malabrigo colors. I think this one was the color like Stormy Gray, and this one was maybe Sunset colors. So I was thinking of calling this whole thing Sunset After Storms. I made this with the heart of hope, and I think the contrast is just so beautiful. I love how these grays are setting off the yellows and the oranges and the purples and the pinks in that hat. So hopefully the recipient will appreciate it. If not, I still had such joy making it. And I think sometimes, even if the person you're giving it to doesn't appreciate it as fully as you think they might, there's still something really powerful about giving a handmade gift that's done with love. In the same way that you can taste love when someone makes your favorite meal for you, you can feel love when someone puts in a lot of effort and a lot of time and really thought into creating something just for you. So if that happens, mission accomplished. If not, it's always a wonderful experience making something using wonderful fibers and beautiful colors. So that's all I have for y'all this week. Let me know in the comments what you are working on. Are y'all ready for Christmas, or are you still working on some last minute gifts? Because I still have maybe 3 more things that I need to whip. No, 4. I have 4 more things I need to whip together. I better get on that. Anyway, I hope that you're having a wonderful week. It is certainly such a pleasure and such an honor to be part of your life. And I'm so thankful for all the ways that you have encouraged me in this little YouTube adventure that we're on together. If I'm not your cup of tea, thank you so very much for listening this long. I really do appreciate it. And I do hope I will see you again. Bye.